Hi everyone, Coach Steve with a video on which are the most beginner-friendly Ironman courses in Europe. Now, every Ironman is difficult, as in you still have to cover the distance of 3.8k swim, 180k bike, and a 42k run. But not all courses are created equal, and some are more challenging than others. So this video runs through the top 3 best courses for a beginner Ironman. And we will do this in classic movie fashion, where we will go in reverse order from the top 3 down. I'll also be discussing items such as how easy to get there, the actual race logistics, the course difficulty, and the time of year. Time of year is important because it covers what type of weather you might expect on the day. Also, it'll also affect when you have to do a lot of your long training in terms of your long bikes, your long runs, moving back from when the race date is. Now, I'm not going to cover things like cost of accommodation, cost of flights, or actually race atmosphere, because these are kind of harder things to kind of be more objective on. The races I've discussed and reviewed are ones I've done myself, or that my athletes have done and given me feedback on. So, in number 3, we have a race that's very close to the airport, lots of transport availability and accommodations not too hard to get, but it also has a split transition. Now, a split transition means that your transition 1, i.e. where you have to put your bike, and your transition 2, where you have to put your run, on 2 different places. So that makes it a little bit more logistically difficult the days before the race, because you have to get to the 2 places, and also on the race day itself and afterwards when picking up equipment. The course difficulty, it has a harbour swim, and therefore it's sheltered and not subject to too much waves. It is a flat, fast bike and a flat run. The time of year is in August, so it can be a bit warm for this country, and may need some winter mileage depending on your starting fitness. So we're talking about Ironman Copenhagen, typically around the end of August. Super race. So next up, number 2, we have again a kind of city-based Ironman, which is close to the airport, lots of transport options, lots of good hotels, etc. It's got a single transition, makes the race logistics easier. It's a lake swim. Now that does have the risk of being a non-wetsuit swim if it gets too hot, but the bike is flat and very fast, one of the fastest bike courses on the circuit. A nice flat run around this town. And also is in June, so it can be warm on the day, and you will need some winter mileage. That said, Ironman Hamburg is a super race at the start of June. Okay, now before we go on to our winner, in my opinion, please feel free if you disagree to put in the comments. I'm going to talk about some races to avoid as a beginner. Not all the time, but these are just more challenging courses. 1, Ironman Lanzarote. It can be hot, it can be hilly, well it is hilly, and it can be windy, and there's a mass swim start. Superb challenge, but not for your first one. Ironman Nice. Beautiful scenery, an amazingly run race, but the scenery comes at a cost because you're going up the French mountains, and therefore your legs are zapped for the bike. Ironman Bolton. Now the Brits put on an amazing show. The atmosphere is meant to be second to none, but it's hilly, and it's on British roads, which, sorry guys, they're not as good as European. So these are races, again, put in your future Ironman career, but not for your first. Okay, so I'm going to go to our winner. And by the way, I hope this has been useful. We will be doing another video on the best 70.3 beginner for Europe, and also I'll be covering the other areas of America and Asia Pac. So please make sure to subscribe, and that will mean you'll get up to date on those races too. So without further ado, our winner, it's 30 minutes from the airport. Once you actually get to the race site, everything was within walking distance. Walk to the registration, walk to the swim start, walk to the single transition, and walk back to your hotel. Everything is very logistically easy. Again, it's a single transition. You don't need to worry about too much leading up to the race or afterwards. Course difficulty, it's a sea swim. Now it has been choppy some races, but in general this means it's a nice calm swim and you're not in danger of having a non-wetsuit. It's a flat, very fast bike on really smooth roads and a flat run of 3 loops, which again makes it very easy for spectators and just to keep track of your pace. It's also in October, which the weather is really mild at this time of year, and if for Europeans it means that most of your long bikes and your long runs will be done in the summer months rather than the winter. So, who is it? Ironman Barcelona, typically at the start of October, and it's a superb race, and in my opinion, one of the best races for a beginner. So, there you go, guys. Ironman Copenhagen, Ironman Hamburg, and our winner, Ironman Barcelona. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please feel free to put in the comments. Whatever you think, I hope that this has helped you in some way along your Ironman journey.